Have you ever experienced meeting the perfect man, the perfect guy who seems to be everything you ever wanted? But suddenly, you're the one who's acting a little bit asshole-ish. You're even the one who's acting a little bit like the prick who hurt you in your past relationship. Is it all a trick to sabotage ourselves in this wonderful new relationship? Or is there more to it? Prepare your cleaning supplies. Oh, I know you're about to start washing your dishes. And let's get into it. Now, in the last video, we saw Carrie going through the journey of understanding a little bit better the compromises and boundaries we set in a relationship. The main question was, where is the limit? When are you a good supportive partner? And when does your world become their world? We also talked about how there is a difference between things going well and things going well because we just all know how to play the right role. But, as every time you are basing your relationship on pleasing rather than actual partnership, also this one crashed and burned. But Carrie is about to enter another significant relationship in her life. His name is Aiden. He's warm, masculine, though Carrie thinks that having a dog is an overkill. Okay, man, let's chill with the cuteness. But the dog likes Carrie. He runs up to her and starts humping her. He likes her more than just a friend. That sounds disturbing. Aiden comes to the rescue, as they always do, and takes his dog Pete away from Carrie.
Look, to his credit, he only picks the best-looking ladies.
He apologizes that he shouldn't just let his dog run around the shop, and Carrie didn't even know that this is his shop.
Oh, this is your store? I had no idea. As soon as I heard the lie come out of my mouth, I knew I was kinda interested.
Ladies, lying is the best indicator if you like someone. According to Carrie, the more she pretends to be someone else, the more she understands that she likes the guy. That's actually very helpful, to be honest. It should be no problem for her to understand when it's not okay. Am I trying to act as something that I'm not? Ding, 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 ding. She's looking around and she spots a chair she likes. Go figure, it's his favorite chair also. It's made out of special leather, and he grabs Carrie's hand and takes it up against the leather. And ladies, I would be freaked out. What in the Ted Bundy is happening right now? This is even if the guy is cute, did they do that? No, Carrie likes it though. Oof, she is flustered to the point that she decides to buy the chair. Oopsie. One might even say that his sales tactics are quite interesting. People, business is business. You need to know how to sell.
I'm a designer.
A little negotiation and Carrie scores the chair and a date. I guess it was worth it. They go out and everything seems to be going very well. He makes her laugh, he makes her comfortable, and Carrie decides that she needs to come clean. Look, I'm not really a designer. I'm a writer. But I promise that's the only thing that I, lied about. I just wanted to get the discount for the chair.
It's shameful but true. Don't worry, I only lie about furniture. Nothing else.
Now let me ask you, how would you feel about going on a date with someone where by the end of the date you find out that how they presented themselves at the beginning was actually a lie? I'm gonna be honest, I would be a little bit more on the biz what the fuck. It would be a point of caution in my book. As they're talking, Carrie takes out cigarettes, and boy oh boy, does Aiden not like it.
You smoke?
Just a little. The minute I heard the lie come out of my mouth, I realized just how much I kind of liked him. If it bothers you,
I must say that his reaction is a little bit intense. And it's also intense for Carrie because she suddenly feels like she is doing something wrong. Something that won't make him like her. So she continues with another lie. Oh, it's just, occasionally, I'm not really a smoker. Base, your whole image is smoking, okay? And look, here's the thing. Every one of us probably was at a point in their life when they were kind of, hiding some habits because they didn't want to be judged by the other person. I mean, the amount of time I was hiding that I am a Britney Spears fan. But with the mind that I have right now, which I think it's a little bit more, how do you say? Knowledgeable. Looking back, it was clear that I just wasn't really confident in who I am or what do I like. And I was also living in the illusion that there needs to be a certain image, a certain cool girl image for guys to like you. We also see a bit of a contrast between Aiden and Carrie and when it comes to pleasing one another. At this point, Aiden seems to not be focused on trying to be liked by Carrie, not totally, because otherwise he wouldn't even say anything about the cigarettes. And looking at Carrie, at this point, she clearly wants to be liked and she clearly is willing to please the other person, even lie to not be seen as less than. And that's kind of a pattern with Carrie. Every time a guy that she likes or that she starts to like does not accept some part of Carrie, she immediately thinks that him being disgusted by cigarettes mean he is disgusted by me. Now, Aiden leans in for the kiss, but he quickly pulls away. The smoke, the taste of the smoke. He can't do it.
I can taste that cigarette.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have an Altoid.
I don't want to be a jerk, but I can't date a smoker.
Oh.
It is not something that she would expect. To be rejected because she smokes? I am a little bit confused. He saw she's a smoker. This is a deal breaker for him, I guess. And yet he still proceeded to kiss her and then pulled away, almost showing what she's losing because she is a smoker. Manipulation? On the other hand, I could say that maybe he liked her very much, and despite smoking not really being his thing or even being a deal breaker, and went in for the kiss, but then the taste, I guess, reminded him that no, he really can't do it. Overall, from this interaction, we do get to know Aiden a little bit. We understand that Aiden is very comfortable in setting his boundaries, but he is a little bit inconsistent, which could sometimes be even manipulative, while Carrie is still stuck in her need for validation. Now, despite that, when she is with her friends, she becomes a little bit more level-headed, okay?
It's too bad that Aiden had a problem with it, but you have to accept people for who they are.
Now, of course, there is a question of what is actually important in a relationship. Is it, who the person is and the personality, how they resolve conflict, how they build partnership and so on, or is it habits that they have? And this, I think, is very individual. And I do think it depends on how do you see habits defining a person and what are those values that you think that habit is creating. Carrie smoking for Aiden could be that she's the type of person who doesn't take care of her health. And then it's, where do you take that? But Miranda is a little bit perplexed. Like, you are really choosing cigarettes over a man, over him, which, a side note, he is doing precisely that also. Then again, we know that smoking is bad, so...
You bought furniture, he was so cute.
Okay, but for him to dump me like that over a little thing like smoking.
Smoking is not a little thing. It's a dirty, disgusting habit, and you're killing yourself.
They actually don't like her smoking either. They've been just putting up with it because they love her. But Carrie still stands strong. She's gonna quit when she wants to quit and not because a guy or some cute guy told her to.
Smoking is a part of who I am. I will quit when I want to quit, and it won't be because some cute guy told me to.
And honestly, yes, I totally agree. Do not do it because some guy told you to. Though, do not use that as a reason to not ever quit or to not ever change. Denying yourself of a good change because you don't want to do it because a guy said it. It's the question, when is it a change and when is it a positive impact? Also, it's also first date. So what I most definitely wouldn't do, even if I would feel inspired by the guy, I wouldn't be like, just, okay, I'm going to quit now and now we're going to date.
Maybe I could quit, just a little, till I see what's up.
Carrie is taking the path of I'm doing it because of him. And if things don't work out, I'm going back to smoking cigarettes. Okay? Now, with this decision, Carrie goes back to Aiden's shop. And Pete is very happy to see her. He tries to hump her again. Now, Aiden comes towards Carrie and takes Pete away. And he says something very interesting.
This really isn't fair. You know, he was just starting to get over you.
It really isn't fair. He just started to get over you. Now, why do I have a problem with this? Or why does it make me glitch a little bit? Let me explain. Right now, we have a positive idea of Aiden, right? He knows how to set his boundaries, and he recognizes that Carrie is not the right person for dating because she does smoke, and for him, it's a deal breaker, right? But now, by saying this, it almost, at least to me, feels like he's saying, you broke my heart because you're a smoker. He's trying to make her feel bad that he can't date her. You know? But lucky for him, because he gave such a good price on the chair, Carrie is willing to negotiate the smoking part.
I've been thinking about quitting anyway, so why not now? Ta-da. No cigarettes.
So they can date now. Yay! Pathetic. I don't know who's she trying to convince that that's the reason, but that's the thing, right? How many of us in some point in our life, we manipulate ourselves that it's not for the guy, but then you make it in a way that it is for the guy at the end. I love cuddling and he hates it, but you know, at the end of the day, cuddling is overrated. I love having date nights, but he doesn't like it. And here's the thing, it's so capitalistic to go out and have date nights and spend all this money. Some things have a positive impact. Some things are you just trying to convince yourself that you don't want it also, because that is at least how you're gonna keep the guy. Bingo! And then when the relationship doesn't work, it's like, oh my God, I was so stupid. I gave up everything. Stop giving up things just for the other person, okay? Then maybe you won't have that feeling. Aiden is pleasantly surprised. Can she really do that?
Can you do that?
See, I think maybe you think I'm more of a smoker than I actually am. I only have like a cigarette with cocktails.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the illusion of the lovers. Who is lying to themselves and who is the pick-me? Carrie is obviously the Lulu, okay? I mean, not even the Lulu, she is point blank lying, because her only agenda is, first of all, let me see if this guy is worth it. And second of all, you're gonna see how cool I am. I am such a good catch that you won't even care if I smoke or not. But Aiden also hints on a little bit of a pick-me. He seems to be very pleased with the idea that someone would see him good enough to change their ways. Again, if he would have things clear about boundaries, about smoking, about what he actually wants in a relationship and blah, 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 he would not just easily accept that someone will just quit smoking, like just like that, because of him. He would understand that there is a little bit longer process, and he would maybe also spot, why is this person so willing to give up on their habit just because I said so, right? So it does, to me, feel like he is also driven by some kind of desire to feel good enough, for someone to see him as good enough to change. And to me personally, it does look like both of them are manipulating each other to get what they want.
I'm just about done here. You want to get some coffee?
Going from, this is a deal breaker for me, to, this could be so good if only, to then, really, you would do that for me? And finally, let's get some coffee. It's an interesting development for someone who has values of health, and it's giving more the, I'm special enough for someone to quit for me. The coffee date is going so good, it turned into almost dinner. They had fun, they laughed, they had good conversation, and Carrie is entering her rehab phase. She's about to end it and say goodbye, sayonara, never again.
I was completely ready to trade in my crush
Hi.
when it dawned on me just how much I was willing to give up for a cigarette. Well, maybe a quick bite.
So she agrees to continue this date into dinner. She's not gonna let a cigarette come in her way. But while the dinner is finishing, also Carrie's patience is finishing. She wants to bolt, but Aiden wants dessert. Which honestly, I love me a guy who wants a dessert, okay? We don't need to make me feel bad because I want a dessert. You're looking at the dessert menu? Heaven. It's been 7 hours without a cigarette and she is ready to dump this bozo, run out and take that hidden cigarette she has in her purse. She runs out, she even forgets her jacket, she takes her cigarette out of the purse, but the freaking cigarette, drops into the drainage, or at least on the floor. And then, the water is going. But who gives an F? Does it suck? Yes, it sucks. Am I gonna maybe taste pee of someone? Life is life. But she needs that hit. And the second she takes it, it's good. The problem is, Aiden is standing right next to her. And the lie that Carrie was giving is exposed. She has a problem. She can't just quit smoking.
We got a little problem.
We see Carrie back at home and she's reflecting. It's been good. And they would probably have more good times. She is sure they would have it. But the time is to part ways. And she flushes her cigarettes. She is ready to give this relationship a real try.
In the end, I really did it for me. I just hope he's worth it.
Now, I did ask my sister, who used to be a smoker, how would she feel if a guy would tell her that? Now, from her perspective, it does depend on, did you yourself actually want to quit? And then when a guy that you kind of like says that that's a deal breaker, it could push you to finally take that decision and quit smoking. But she does point out that it does really depend if you like the person or not. Because if you don't really like the person, then you don't really care if they don't like that you are smoking. But then the question becomes, how driven are we by external validation? Also for our own well-being. Now, if you're doing it just because the other person doesn't like it, then it could get a little bit tricky. What if things don't go well? And then instead of looking at letting go of, in this case, smoking as, a good thing for me, it can be an easy way to feel resentment. All in all, HBO succeeded to take away cigarettes from the show, which is good. It's their 4th date. And people, Carrie has been waiting long enough. She's ready to take it to the 3rd base. I'm too old for saying 3rd base. Also, is that the base that I think it is? After a passionate kiss, she asked Aiden to join her in. But Aiden rejects her. Let's take a breath. Let's calm. Does anyone have chocolate?
Get up early in the morning.
Hasn't Carrie been through enough of these sex, no sex? What does it mean? Here we go again. It is interesting though. How come Aiden is so touchy-feely? His hands going a little bit too much everywhere? Yes, people, I do have a problem with this. I do not understand why he is being so sensual with Carrie, but then kind of rejects her when she asks him to come in. Carrie is confused also. I mean, rightfully so. Again, he was all over her ass. Mixed signals much? I'm gonna say something which would probably make a couple of you hate me. Or be like, what the F is she talking about? But let's not pretend that this would be the first time. I personally feel that Aiden is almost posing as the good guy. There, I said it. Aiden gives me the I am the nice guy, or I know how to be a good guy. He seemingly does the right things, but there is always this, this sauce attached to it. Did anyone else get that feeling? She shares this also with her friends, the fact that they haven't done it yet. And Samantha has some wisdom to share.
I don't know what's going on. Clearly he's attracted. We're spending a lot of time together. He keeps asking me out, but he doesn't want to sleep with me.
Well, you better be careful. You wait too long to sleep with someone, you miss the window and become just friends.
Wow, a wisdom that is crap. Again, what's up with this writing? If a guy wants a relationship, then he will want to have sex with you immediately. But also, if a guy doesn't want a relationship, then he'll want to have sex immediately. I also don't get the whole thing of going on a date with someone, being intimate with them, not, having sex, but still, kissing and being all over each other. But then there is still a possibility that we are just friends. Like, these friendships are very, very interesting. It's also interesting to see that Carrie already had this lesson in the past, connecting her own self-worth to intimacy, to having sex. If a guy doesn't want to have sex with her, then it means that she is not good enough. It's something wrong with her. We would expect that she already kind of went through that and learned from it. But I guess the story must go on. She now has a plan. She's gonna make sure that this does not stay in a friend zone or doesn't become a friend zone. She's gonna make sure she's wearing the right type of dress to leave little to imagination and make Aiden want her right there and then.
So I wore my very little dress that left very little to the imagination. Do you want to take this inside?
But people, Aiden rejects her again.
I better get home. I gotta do
Yeah, you gotta get up early with the dog, whatever.
And she closes her door. Aiden, though, needs to know more. He knocks, she opens, and he's like, what's happening up there?
What's going on up there?
Wow. From where I'm looking, that a finger is pointing a little bit too much, okay? You should put it down. But okay. Things have gray areas. We can say that Aiden is just bad at saying things, right? He tries to be direct. He knows that there is something wrong, and instead of saying, hey, like, what's wrong? He's already trying to create this sense of whatever you're thinking, it's not it. It doesn't mean anything that I don't want to be with you. But saying it like that, it could also come across as very patronizing, very dismissive, like, what's going on up there? Devaluating her feelings. But Carrie does know how to make me feel a little bit better, okay?
Do you just want to be friends?
Are you freaking kidding me? Kill me now. Again, I get it. You're trying to be direct. You're trying to be like, what is up with this? It's again a little bit immature. You clearly have some other questions that would be a bit more suitable. Your question could be, how do you see us going forward? Are you looking for something serious? Or how is intimacy important to you? Because to me it is. And right now I feel rejected. Like, that would be much more productive. For me, both of them are a bit crap at communicating. Aiden reassures Carrie that he is very much into her and he doesn't want to be friends. But he wants to take it slow this time.
I do want to sleep with you. But I've been down that road before. I've slept with women quickly, and I'm still single.
He wants to try something different. This time, he only wants to do it if he really likes the person.
I just want to try to sleep with somebody I care about. And I really think that I could care about you.
Now, all of this can sound a little bit like, what do you mean you still don't know if you like me? But let me remind you, this is maybe their 5th date. And all in all, it's been a week and a half. Let that sink in. I think it's perfectly healthy for Aiden to acknowledge that as much as we have good time together, there are still things that we need to understand about each other to see if we are actually good for one another to make this relationship, a real relationship, a partnership. But there is also an indication that Aiden himself is a little bit confused because, again, if you know that you don't want to be intimate with a woman, until you really know that you care about each other, then I don't understand why is he so touchy-feely, literally under her skirt. And I can also see it from a point of compassion where Aiden is maybe struggling with the physical attraction, but still being true to his own boundaries, right? We talked about it before. When you're trying to do something new, it is kind of challenging if you keep on getting triggered or to feel comfortable to hold that boundary. Am I doing the right thing? Am I exaggerating? And that's what Aiden could be going through. That's why there are these mixed signals. He is like physical with her, touchy with her, but then he pulls back. Maybe I'm too harsh, but it can come across as a little bit manipulative. Now, looking at the fact that he doesn't want to be intimate, it does show that he wants a relationship where there is more than just physical connection. He wants to be emotionally connected with the person he is with. Here's the thing. I would say that Carrie's frustration is very valid because he is giving mixed signals. But on the other hand, Aiden's intentions are also good.
Don't people date anymore?
Why did I expect to sleep with him after only a week and a half?
Look, this is their 5th date in a week and a half. I would expect you had some meaningful conversations. Some conversations about getting to know each other, right? If Aiden is looking for someone he really cares about, and this time he wants to be with someone, he wants to develop something more, how come that topic never came on the table? 5 dates in 10 days, which is almost every other day, you have a date with this person, and yet you never talked about what are you looking for in a relationship. Because here's the thing, if he would express that to her, right, saying, look, I'm maybe on the 3rd date, I'm actually looking for something serious. I want to take this slow. I want to get to know you better. If that was the conversation, then Carrie wouldn't feel confused. Carrie wouldn't feel threatened by the fact that they haven't been intimate yet. It doesn't really feel good knowing that they've been on 5 dates almost every day, and yet Carrie is still confused about his intentions. But it is what it is. The result is that Carrie feels like a dum-dum.
Romance! I'm telling you, it didn't even occur to me, which is so depressing. Is that what 13 years of dating in Manhattan does to a woman?
Was she so effed up in the past that she literally forgot about romance? I'm confused. What does romance have to do with these situations? I don't know, maybe it's the language or something, but I really don't get, because there was nothing romantic about Aiden filling her up but then rejecting her. Like, I don't get it. It's almost like she's saying romance means no sex. Aiden, to me, doesn't feel very romantic, but rather posing as a nice guy, as the good guy, It's giving the, I'm so passionate about you, I want to eat you up. But it's like, no. I'm actually a good guy. I don't want to take it to bed too soon. I want to have something serious with you. Okay. Maybe they just needed like a silver lining to talk about romance in this episode, I guess. They have another date. But despite Carrie understanding that, romance is something that she forgot about it, she still is very much analyzing, is Aiden her friend or her boyfriend? He kisses like a boyfriend, but teases her like a friend.
I think Catherine Zeta-Jones is hot.
Friend.
Not as hot as you, but she's hot.
Boyfriend.
Ladies, take note, when you are unsure about a man, stick to the clear definition of what makes one a friend and what makes one a boyfriend. It does point that despite Carrie feeling like, oh my God, I totally get it, it's romance, she's still very much unsure and confused. And what would actually help her was to actually talk to Aiden about it. To say, okay, I understand, you want to, wait more or blah, 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 but this and this still makes me feel confused. Like, what is this? What are we trying to do here? The problem is that Carrie just took it as, it's not me. You not wanting to have sex with me is not about me. It's about your wishes and blah, blah, blah. But I'm good enough, okay? Phew. But what am I right now? A friend or a girlfriend? I still don't know that part. It is also very normal in the early stages of a relationship. Like, you never evaluated what, certain small interactions mean, how much the person is into you or not into you. But it also shows that when there is lack of communication, then these confusions happen and you actually need to, observe what does it mean. And when you are focused on what does it mean? Like, you totally forget that it's also about you. How do you feel in this relationship? So if you find yourself over-analyzing, don't worry, you're not the only one, but it does point to some insecurities that you might have. And it does point that your understanding of if this relationship is good or not, or if this man is good or not for you, depends on how he sees you rather than how you see him.
I think Samantha was right. About what? Me and Aiden. I think we're just friends who kiss occasionally.
Aiden has been in the bathroom for the last half an hour, and Carrie takes the opportunity to call Charlotte.
All we did was eat Chinese takeout and watch Zorro, and now I'm working, and he's reading a paper on the John or something. This isn't romance, this is bullshit.
Gary.
Yeah?
Aiden calls her to the bathroom, and Carrie is a bit annoyed. She ends the call with Charlotte, and she goes to the bathroom. She opens the door, and there it is. Romance. The bathtub is filled, there are candles, and the atmosphere is very...
Wow.
I'm gonna admit, I love me some good bathtub time. I never knew I needed it, but when he did it, oh boy, is it nice. And Carrie feels the same way. She feels a little bit... She feels a bit ridiculous because she was again trying to, dismiss him just because they were not intimate or whatever, and there was no real romance, while Aiden was actually putting in the work to bring the romance and to make the evening romantic.
I thought a bath would help you relax. You seem kind of tense.
He's gonna leave her to enjoy the bathtub, and they can see each other the next day. Now, when it comes to Aiden and preparing this bathtub and trying to be romantic, like I said, much appreciated. But the problem with these gestures is that if you do it because you see that the person is tense or stressed or whatever, yes, it's nice, you prepare them a relaxing bath or something, but that won't take away the fact that you should talk about it, that you should try to understand better why does she feel stressed and upset. It would be much better if he would ask her about it, then they would have a conversation, and then on top, he would do this romantic gesture. Or at least when he did this gesture, he would then say, can we talk about why do you feel stressed? The thing is that doing these gestures will not take away the need to talk. Even though it gets you some points, it's not the solution. It's not the actual solution. Carrie is in her bathtub, all cutesy, and she's like,
Big tub, little person.
Carrie does not know how to respect Aiden's boundaries. Yes, the same way others didn't respect her boundaries, she is not respecting Aiden's boundaries. I mean, she hasn't respected boundaries of many guys she was dating, but here we go again. Aiden clearly told her that he does not want to be intimate too fast, and yet she is still trying to actively push it.
You talked me into it.
Aiden changes his mind and joins her in the bathtub. As they are kind of, talking, having fun, I don't know, like it looks very cramped, to be honest. Carrie starts to push a little bit more again.
So now what?
Now what? We're just taking a little bath. Oh, fuck it. Let's just do it.
And they do it. No, they don't. They don't do it because, ladies and gentlemen, it was not about actually doing it. You see, the second Carrie hears those words and sees that Aiden would actually do it, she doesn't want to do it anymore.
No, this isn't how it's supposed to happen. You said this was just a bath.
Come on, who cares?
You do. And I do too now. Hey, everybody. Out of the tub.
This woman, okay? But yeah, that's how it is when you are basing all your decisions and connection with the other person on your own validation. Because it wasn't about Carrie needing now this physical intimacy to feel emotionally connected, right? What we talked about before. This shows that it was literally just about getting the validation, almost winning, right? Knowing that he is now boyfriend and not a friend. And the fact that Aiden in this moment, he didn't recognize that Carrie is actually not good for him because she pushed his boundaries. I guess that's a lesson he'll have to learn. I also wonder how much this was impacted by the give and take, right? Because on one hand, he could see that Carrie gave up smoking because of him, because to be with him. So maybe a part of him is also looking at, you know what, if intimacy is so important to her that she keeps on pushing it, then I can also give up on this. But in any case, when you have a transactional approach to the relationship, you, me, you, me, you, me, it can very quickly become toxic and competitive and anything but partnership. He also failed to see that at the end of the day, it was all for her validation rather than focusing on what's good for the relationship. Carrie and Aiden go to another date. Still, they haven't been intimate. As Aiden is kissing Carrie at her door, he asks her if he should come in or they should do it. I don't know. What exactly did he say?
What do you think about me staying the night?
After 1.5 weeks being too soon, 2 weeks seems to be the right amount of time for them to have sex. Are we surprised though? I mean, come on. Look, none of them is a good communicator, and clearly one person is all about validation. Also, the other person is all about validation, because why would you go against your boundaries unless you want to please another person? Both of them are not, though they try, they still let their own insecurities take over when they shouldn't. I do want to add here that, yes, in this case, Aiden might have felt pushed and pushed to the point where he just let go of his boundaries. But there is never too late to reestablish your boundary, okay? Just because you did one step, it doesn't mean that then automatically you also need to do all the other steps that will totally take away the boundary that you set. And on the flip side, let's say that Aiden saw in Carrie that she's the right person, and that made him realize that maybe this boundary was a little bit unnecessary. Then we could say it wasn't so wrong to let go of this boundary, right? Because sometimes we set some boundaries that are in the way of the relationship actually developing, and we're not setting it for the sake of our well-being, but we are setting it for the sake of there needs to be a boundary, right? Saying that though, it is a slippery slope, okay? If you decide, like in this case, Aiden decided that he's not gonna, put off being intimate, you really need to decide that this is because you yourself feel that this is the right step. You are reassured by your own comfort with this decision and not by the validation from the other person. The fact that Aiden did let go of the boundary that he set or this rule that he had, it could show Carrie or indicate to Carrie that Aiden can be pushed. That at the end of the day, if she wants something, she can make him do it. Not only that, it almost reinforces. If you push, then it will be effective. And that's when Aiden can now start feeling like all he does is to please Carrie. They enter the apartment, and Carrie for the first time feels nervous having sex.
Aiden and I were going to sleep together, and it was going to mean something.
Excuse me, what? When did it not mean anything? If they didn't have sex, it means that she is not good enough. She is rejected. But now, when they do have sex, now the meaning is that this relationship is something more special. First, it was the need to validate herself. Now it is the need to validate the relationship.
I was no virgin, but this was definitely virgin territory.
Aiden and Carrie are dating for 3 weeks, and Carrie is starting to have nightmares.
The next night, like clockwork.
This was not normal for her, okay? She has never been in a relationship where everything is going good. It's freaking scary.
For the first time in my life, I was in a relationship where absolutely nothing was wrong.
We heard it all before, right? When you are not used to things being healthy, it can freak you out. It's the unknown territory of many women. Well, I came across this expression called the fear of stability, the phenomenon that people face when they are actually in a healthy, stable relationship, but they have no idea what the F does it mean. Now, I'm no expert, but we've all heard about past experiences. The experiences that we have already in childhood, right? If you were raised in an environment where fighting, shouting was a part of family, a part of relationship, or the relationship your parents had, then it could be that you are equating that with being normal. It gives you comfort because it's something known. Despite it being very unsafe, you develop feeling safe around toxicity. Now, this can be further emphasized by relationships that then you have as an adult, or it can also develop from the experience you have in some of your relationships. If the relationships were always push and pull, one, it reinforces the comfort of feeling at home because of your childhood. And second, it can again create a sense of normalcy, right? This is how partnership should be. This is normal. Not only that, if you don't fight, is it really real? Now, we don't know about Carrie's family or her childhood, but we do know that she had some effed up experiences, right? Her biggest love, her one true love, Mr. Big, was all about push and pull. So now being with Aiden, when there is no, drama, where there is no excitement, it feels very foreign. It triggers the unknown, the uncertainty. Like, what will happen next? How do I deal with this? The second most obvious reason why some might feel uncomfortable in a healthy relationship is deep down, you don't really think you deserve it. You're not good enough to actually have a good, healthy relationship. It's a typical belief that you need to work for it in order to be worth of it, right? If you're not gonna suffer, if you're not gonna struggle, then how will you actually show how good you are? How would you actually be worthy of the rewards? Again, this can develop in early childhood if your parents always needed you to prove yourself. So then that can also emphasize even more in a relationship, or is developed when you have a relationship where you constantly feel like you need to prove yourself, right? The same way Carrie constantly felt that she is not good enough for Mr. Big. She always tried to please him to get that affection, to get that love. Mr. Big, on top of that, was also very good at making Carrie stay at that, I'm lesser, I'm inferior to you level. He liked that Carrie felt that way. He liked that Carrie wanted to please him. I mean, let's say like this. He didn't really care because he just saw Carrie like that. He just saw himself better than Carrie. So now with Aiden, everything going well, she feels like this is not real. Something has to go wrong because she doesn't believe that she deserves that things are going well. That's just not That's not possible. And then there is the feeling too special to have it effortless. We do know that Carrie believes in true love, in the one, in soulmates. True love story has some struggle, has some push and pull, right? The two people who are meant to be together cannot really be together, but maybe one day they will come together. She does believe in those things. And the struggle is there because you're one of a kind. Your love is one of a kind. It can't just be easy. You're too special for it to be easy. Now, on one hand, it could seem as selfish, right? Carrie is just wanting that fairy tale story. She's not about real love or real partnership. She just wants that special, one-of-a-kind journey to true love. But it can also be a way to compensate for not feeling good enough. This is how I'm also trying to understand it. When someone doesn't feel good enough, it feels so good feeling special. Instead of dealing with the heaviness and the burden of not feeling good enough, the negative tone to it. You replace it by, I'm special. You replace it by a positive way of looking at it. It's not because I'm struggling because I don't feel good enough and I need to develop some sense of self-love. It's because I'm special and something more is actually meant for me. To me, the special is almost like the evil, the selfish sister of the not good enough. And that's when the problems comes in, right? When the not good enough is replaced by special, then things like this start to enter the story. He's gonna change because of me, because I'm that special. Of course, that young, good-looking, model-like stranger on Facebook wants to marry me, a middle-aged person that never leaves their apartment, because I am actually that special. I always knew it, and finally, this person knows it also. Or yes, we are on and off, and it's so confusing, but it's because we are actually meant to be together and we are twin flames. We are special, okay? So the question at the end of the day is, how good enough do you think you are? Be it because you believe that you don't deserve to have it easy, or because you feel too special to have it easy.
It feels odd. I'm used to the hunt, and this is effortless. It's freaking me out.
So for Carrie, the hunt begins. She needs to find out what is wrong with Aiden. But this time, she's not, playing a private detective, following him around and trying to dissect what is happening. She asks him directly, what is wrong with you?
This relationship cannot just sail on like it is. Perfect. Because frankly, I can't take the pressure.
Now, to me, it was very interesting. She said the pressure of it. It could be the pressure of when will things go to shit, right? If she believes that there is no way that things are going good all the time, then she has the pressure of when will it blow? When will something bad happen? She could also feel the pressure of being an imposter, right? If she feels like she doesn't deserve it, or that she's not good enough to have it, then she might feel a bit anxious about when will this be exposed? When will Aiden see her for who she thinks she is, not good enough? Aiden seems to be amused by Carrie's worries.
Okay, I'm gonna kiss you now.
Seriously, what the hell is wrong with you that you're not married? Tell me.
Can't you just relax and go with the flow?
Go with the flow? No, I can't do that.
Now, first of all, let's talk about kissing her when she is obviously a little bit anxious. I do get that Aiden is trying to calm her down, right? He is trying to reassure her in some way and maybe even show her some emotional support. He wants to kiss her because in his eyes, that's a way to communicate that it's okay, you don't have to worry, and this is good. His light approach can also be intentional, right? To ease the situation, to bring some stability as a contrast to Carrie's, anxiousness. And honestly, I kind of get it. Sometimes when you're freaking out, all you need is someone there that can be calm, okay? It's almost like when you're interacting with dogs. I don't know if you know this, but if you want the dog to calm down, you yourself need to calm down. Be his rock, his anchor. If you're not worried, then the dog will be less anxious. So I think Aiden is kind of being that owner to Carrie. Wow, this went wrong so fast. Is his way of helping Carrie feel better. On the other hand, it could come across as a little bit dismissive, okay? As much as it can be a way to make you feel a little bit calmer and relaxed, it can also feel like, are you not listening to me? Are you just trying to brush this over? What I see could be done better is if he would actually ask her questions. If he would try to understand where is this anxiety come from and this worry that there has to be something wrong with him. That would not only show that he is emotionally invested or that he is invested in her well-being, but he would actually also do it. He would try to understand how can he help Carrie feel better? How can they get to the root cause of her doubts? And at the same time, it gives this sense of we are in this together rather than you need to figure it out on your own. Ada's intentions might be good, but his approach right now still leaves quite a lot of room for things never actually being resolved and Carrie potentially not ever feeling good in the relationship. Now, when it comes to him asking her to go with the flow, that it clearly shows there is a mismatch between Carrie and Aiden, or at least in this case, Carrie's need for structure while Aiden proposing going with the flow. If we take what we talked about before, that Carrie has a fear of uncertainty, she is probably in this moment grasping for some sense of stability, for some sense of control. So when Aiden proposes going with the flow, that's even more like, what the hell are you talking about? She right now needs a sense of reassurance, and flow ain't it.
Well, how long do you think this phase is going to last? Because my folks are coming to town this weekend, and I wanted you to meet them.
Calling it a phase, I will admit, did make me glitch a little bit. With this invite, let's say, Aiden is communicating to Carrie that he is invested in this relationship and he actually sees a future with her. If Carrie right now feels that everything is too perfect and it almost feels like it's not real, meeting the parents could feel very grounding. Okay, so this perfection is real. It's based on something. We are actually building some real foundations. I also want to add something that is a little spicy, let's say. A part of me does wonder if we are now seeing some additional clues about Aiden's own need for validation.
That is really nice.
The fact that he doesn't ask Carrie about her fears almost feels like he just enjoys the fact that he is seen as the good, nice guy. It makes him feel good. Maybe he himself is more focused on getting the recognition, being recognized as a good, nice guy, rather than looking at, wait, we still need to figure out why does she feel the way she feels to actually have a good relationship. And I'm not saying that's a red flag. I just want to show how easily we can fall to the need to be validated and recognized. And instead of actually understanding the other person, we are okay as long as they see us as a good partner. So Carrie does feel good about it, but I do not like how Aiden by the end calls her nuts.
Did they happen to know what the hell's wrong with you?
Let's get you a donut. Nuts.
It's jokingly, it's kind of like cute nuts, but still, it can come across as not actually validating her feelings or making her feel more and more that her fears or her doubts are just a little bit silly, or at least they're not really worth exploring deeper. And comparing it to Big, while Big's approach was very much like, what's wrong? Like, you're annoying. What's wrong with you? You're just crazy. Aiden's approach is very much like, babe, I get it, but you're a little bit silly. I'm committed to you. While Aiden's approach is obviously much, much better, it would be even better if he would actually acknowledge and try to understand her fears rather than just give reassurance. And just as a little small advice, it does not mean if someone is not good in understanding or trying to help you understand where do you come from and they immediately go to reassuring you that they are a bad person, okay? What you can do, try to help them be a better support to you. Everyone needs to learn things, okay? But then even after that, if they never actually want to try to understand you, reassurance won't go far, okay? Because you're gonna drown in doubt on your own. Now, Carrie shares something with Miranda.
Do you remember how Big used to keep me away from his mother like I was some kind of leper?
I remember.
And how Aiden's offering up both his parents on a silver platter, and I'm not sure I want to meet them.
Despite Aiden doing the exact thing she wished Mr. Big would do, she is not sure that she actually wants wants to meet them. Not only that, she kind of feels that she's the Mr. Big of this relationship.
The irony is Aiden's acting exactly the way I wish Big would have behaved, and I'm behaving just like Big.
Now, there are a couple of things that I want to kind of talk about here. And the first thing is, does Carrie actually want commitment? Or is it all for validation? When it comes to her relationship with Big, there was always this silver lining of Big never actually validating Carrie the way she wanted to be validated, right? She was never good enough. He never gave her that reassurance. So him not introducing her to his mom to the point that she had to reinforce it, right? Just show up at the church. It's almost like a scream to be seen. It's the last resort to get some sense of feeling good enough for Mr. Big. That could be the reason why Carrie was so obsessed with meeting his mom, because she didn't actually get any other reassurance. When it comes to Aiden, though, it seems like he is giving her plenty reassurance, like plenty validation, so she doesn't actually need to be introduced to the parents, right? When the opportunity comes, she doesn't know if she actually wants to do it. And we could go, as I said, into the discussion, does she actually want commitment? We need to acknowledge the timeline here, okay? It is very difficult to say one or the other because she was with Mr. Big for a year and she still hasn't met his parents or his mother, nor was he giving her a sense of commitment. While Aiden and Carrie have been together, if the timeline still checks out, maybe tops 4 weeks. I think it's pretty normal that you're unsure of meeting parents or for making that step after three weeks of being with someone, especially if you feel like meeting the parents is a big milestone in a relationship. Then the fuck do I want to meet your parents after a month? Let's calm down, okay? Or it could be that she's still emotionally invested in Mr. Big and she doesn't really want to get committed to Aiden right now because she doesn't feel that the connection she has with Aiden is as strong. If we go back to how she's feeling like she's now the Mr. Big of the relationship, I think, first of all, that she's being a little bit unfair. As mentioned a couple of times so far, they've been together only for a month. It would be interesting to understand if her guilt is coming from her feeling bad that she's acting like Big, what Big did is bad and now I'm also bad, or does she feel guilt that she judged Big so much? She does have her insecurities, she does flop on many things, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a fresh relationship. She does accept Aiden into her life. There is no indication of Aiden being confused about Carrie the same way Carrie was confused about Big. Not at this point, at least. So based on that, what could be an underlying problem here is that Carrie equates doubts with bad. If you have doubts, then it means that something is wrong, something is bad. And honestly, we need to normalize having doubts a little bit more. But it also doesn't mean that there is nothing there. All in all, it most definitely doesn't mean that you are a bad person if you have doubts. And it actually could be a sign of being grounded. Carrie visits Aiden in his shop.
I've been thinking about this, meeting your parents. And I was just wondering if it's a good idea. Where I come from, meeting the parents. Oh, so big.
You'll meet him some other time.
Okay.
It does mean that they won't be able to see each other this week and he's gonna miss her. And then Carrie crashes and burns. You see, it's good if they miss each other, right? Maybe that's what's missing all along. Maybe
we should see each other less and then we can miss each other more. It's just, you're so available to me and I'm so available to you. Maybe we're both just too, available.
if this is not the worst thing that you can say to someone who you are in relationship with, I can think of many others that are, but this one is pretty high, okay? It is so unnecessary and it is so rude. I do not know when people feel like they need some space for themselves, because it could be that you're spending so much time with this person that you truly need to take a step back because you want to kind of see where you stand, right? Why do we need to tell the other person that we are actually excited about the fact that we won't see them as much? We are looking forward to having some time for ourselves because we are too available for one another. Like you can say, man, I'm kind of missing being on my own today. You know, I love that we spend time together, but I feel like I want to be a little bit with my own self and kind of just probably chill. Okay. I do not know why do you need to add we are too available to one another. And Aiden also reacts confused because it is it's what the fuck. It's bad. It's really bad. He is taking it a little bit better than I would, for sure. He says that she shouldn't worry, like he has a life.
Carrie, it's no big deal. I have a life. I was just making room for you in it.
You always say the right things.
And that's the thing, in my opinion, with Aiden. It's almost like he's trying to play it off cool. He feels a bit avoidant, right? Because, of course, it hurts when a person says it like that. So for him to say back, it's not a problem, it's a life, and then top it with, I was just trying to make space for you in it, rather than actually acknowledging that what she's saying is actually really rude and hurtful, does make me think, how honest is he in his relationship with Carrie? What are the insecurities that he has that prevent him being a little bit more, Carrie, that's rude. Like, why do you feel like we're spending too much time together? But it's all, oh, it's okay. A part of me feels like Aiden has his own delusion of needing to be the nice and the cool guy that doesn't say anything, right? It's almost the cool guy in contrast to the cool girl. A healthy approach and secure approach is much more balanced. It's like, I can acknowledge when you are hurting me, when you are not behaving the right way, and I can also understand you and give us a chance to support each other better, right? Or treat each other better. The way he's going about it, he has some problems of his own. Charlotte and Carrie go to opera, and Carrie shares with her friend about how bad she feels. She feels like she's sabotaging herself. She's sabotaging a good thing. While she's sitting there, Charlotte gives her binoculars. The thing is where you can see far away. And as Carrie is, checking the singer, but then going a little bit around, like, what are the peeps doing? She sees him. And he sees her. Across on the other side is Mr. Big with Natasha. Now, it's very clear what Mr. Big's intentions are. It's very clear what kind of person Mr. Big is. You see, when he spots Carrie, he acts as though Natasha shouldn't see it, as though he's hiding something from Natasha. He waves at Carrie, and again, he kind of checks his wife, like being a bit shady about it. Carrie is now in a nightmare of her own. There is no way she's gonna sit through this opera with Mr. Big and Natasha on the other side. She is a little bit dramatic, and she acknowledges that as she's running out the opera and kind of ditching Charlotte.
I knew it was rude and a tad overdramatic, but I felt like I'd just seen the Phantom of the Opera.
She goes home, she goes to bed, and boom, again the nightmares. She wakes up, and this time, she knows why she feels anxious. It shook her to the core seeing Big again. Okay. But at the same time, this made her realize she wants a man who is available. She wants Aiden. She wants someone who actually wants to commit to her.
Now I know I want to be with a man who wants to be with me. I've had enough relationship drama for one lifetime.
If this was Big, she would call him right there and there. 3 a.m. in the morning does not matter. She needs to talk to him. But with Aiden, she's gonna wait appropriate hour. It does show some growth on Carrie's side, and it's good for her. In the morning, she calls Aiden or Aiden's shop, and he's not there.
When I hadn't heard from him by that evening, I began to get butterflies in my stomach.
She starts to feel that he's a little bit unavailable. And that grows her need for him even more. Sure, very healthy. Now, I have a question for you. Do you think that Carrie suddenly needing and missing Aiden so much, and the thought of losing him makes her feel anxious, is a response to Mr. Big not being available, rather than her realizing that she wants to be with someone who will accept her? She was doubting her relationship with Aiden, in my personal opinion, a very healthy approach. I mean, they've been together again a month. But when she saw that Mr. Big, her one true love, the one, right, is taken, is with his wife, it actually reminded her that he's not an option. He's not available. So she should just stop and make it work with Aiden? Or does it actually remind her how much pain Big brought her when he was uncertain, that she appreciates more the good things she has with Aiden? Which one do you think is the driving force that makes Carrie want Aiden so much right now?
After 2 days of not hearing from Aiden, I realized only a dramatic gesture could salvage things.
Is Carrie trying to feed into her own drama a little bit more, create a little bit more tension? She needs to do something dramatic, something out of this world to show her love for Aiden, because she's actually craving that sweet, sweet drama. She goes to the restaurant where Aiden is gonna eat breakfast with his parents, and she was invited to, and she knocks on the window. Aiden sees her, he comes out, and he is in a happy mood. He's happy to see her. He asks her what's up, and Carrie goes into it. She says that she realized that she actually wants to meet the parents, but, she was just a bit scared because meeting the parents is a big thing.
But then I realized, no, I want to meet the parents, but I didn't know if you still wanted me to meet the parents because I've been calling you and you haven't called me back. So then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go, because being in an actual relationship means taking a risk. It's just a leap of faith, no matter how many times one might have been disappointed in the past. So I said to myself, I'm just going to show up, because you're a good man. A really good man.
I'm not gonna lie, to me personally, this feels very much like, are you trying to convince yourself or him? Here's the thing though, Aiden has a little bit of an attitude when Carrie is saying all of these things, right? It feels like he's a little bit over it, just a little bit. But by the end of Carrie's speech, he feels good about it. She gave him that reassurance that he wanted, right? That Carrie realized how good he is, and she is back being with him.
So why haven't you called me back?
You wanted me to be less available, so I was trying to be less available.
You know how I was saying that through the whole time he gave me a little bit of a feeling of being a little bit performative, playing into the nice guy, good guy, not from the malicious intent, but actually believing that that's how he should be, right? This is the moment when I'm like, when I'm right, okay? Okay. She wanted him to be less available, so he was less available. What in the actual fuck? I don't know which one is worse. Aiden pretending that he wasn't bothered by what Carrie said, but then still being a little bit petty, not calling her back, and then framing it as, it's what you wanted, I just wanted to please you. Or Carrie being impressed by that.
Really? Oh. You'll have to do everything I say.
Well, you're here now. Can I introduce you to my parents?
If you ever looked for comedy, best believe the interactions between man and a woman in Sex and the City will deliver. They kind of make up, but Carrie is a little bit worried that his parents are gonna think that she's nuts.
No, just have to get used to it. Come on, nuts.
Yeah, what is up with the nuts thing, Aiden, huh? How long is it a joke and fun before it becomes a point of insecurity for Carrie? Are all her worries and actions just silly and nuts? Well, we'll see about that, won't we? People, this was a long one. I'm gonna tell you, I've been filming for 6 hours. 6 hours because I had problems, okay? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this fresh relationship between Aiden and Carrie. And, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. It helps the channel and it might help spread the message to those of need. I don't know what I'm doing. But whatever. The only thing that we have to do is trust your individuality. I need to drink. I'm thirsty.